Good morning, everybody. My name's Henry Keating. For those of you that don't know me, I think everybody knows me. But I'm from Spartanburg, South Carolina. I graduated from Mercy University. Go Bears. You guys know. With a major in journalism and a minor in history, and I lived up on Missionary Ridge with Rob and Mary Masters this year. Many of us this year have joked that it's like a fire hose. I actually got to operate a fire hose this year. I went out and helped Lindsay Rogers out in our fire department here, make some content for the Chattanooga Fire Department. And as part of it, they were testing out new nozzles from a vendor, and they were like, "Hey, you want to run? You want to run the hose?" And so I was like, "Okay." And I looked at the guy on it, and he's down on one knee, sitting on top of the hose, basically, and shooting it down the street. And so I thought I was doing the same thing, and then I'm just like in the air, coming out of my boots, getting caught by this giant firefighter behind me. And wow, I just got soaked through. Like, the water went everywhere, and I was just sopping wet in the brigade chief's truck for like the next hour. But this year, I've also been soaked through by strong theology, loving community, and good work. It was incredibly necessary for me this year. I left Macon feeling really lost and hungry, and I was aching for answers and safety and direction. And the people of this community that opened up their workplaces, their homes, and their families for me, they provided that soft place to land. And it's become an immensely challenging but beautifully formative year. I'm very grateful for it. And a huge portion of the year for me and for many of us is finding out what vocation means. The conclusion that I've come to is that, like most things, vocation is rooted in what you believe reality is. Looking for answers this year across the 4 pillars of Fellows, they ask the question of where you believe that reality centers. They ask you to find your vocation, to commit to community, to explore your faith, and to practice civic responsibility. Well, let's talk about vocation for a minute. While all Christians are called to a common vocation of obedience to Christ and worship in every space of life, there is also a complete freedom to choose from hundreds of careers or opportunities that you have based on your skills, based on the opportunities presented to you, based on your connections, and based on your passions. I've always felt the importance of public service. My mother served in the military. Her father served in the military. My dad's worked for the census. My mom was an economics and government teacher. Shout out to SC core curriculum. And I've always been encouraged by them to be a good reader and a good writer. Hence my degree in journalism. And as I felt less and less fulfilled by where that industry was going and the opportunities that I had there, and I was seeking something else, Ralston and I helped me get jobs related to government and public service. And choosing to pursue work for an elected official is a big shift from that previous career track. And it's been really interesting to reflect on it as I consider what it means to be a public servant. To serve with integrity, to compete to win in an area that traditionally is full of setbacks, frustration, and mistrust. I feel called to the work. I see the toll that it takes on good people who participate, and I see those in power who abuse the trust of some of those good people. I want to make a difference, and I know that's idealistic, but being a Christian is about hope. It's about working against the fall. I've flirted with a lot of career opportunities this year, even going back and mourning my hypothetical engineering career after I got my Highlands battery results, and it was like environmental engineer, electrical engineer, systems engineer, concrete engineer, and I was like, oh man. But I've received a lot of wise counsel, and I'm so grateful for my mentors and my mentors' mentors who've helped me work out what I want to do with myself. So I'll briefly say a thanks here to my mentor, Joe Dodd, who can't be with us, but my girlfriend's dad, Sam Moore, who was our first teacher here and helped us figure out how to run our lives and order priorities, our wonderful director, Ralston, the Capital Fellows, Bill Fulla, the Trinity Fellows director, Dennis Doran, my boss at City, Kevin Roig, who I didn't know was going to be here, my bosses at Bridge, Austin Cantrell and Todd Womack, Bruce Kennett, who's now becoming a good friend, who have helped me formulate why it mattered to me to to work in government and pursue this opportunity. And I also want to thank Benner Brock and Zach O'Neill and a lot of the great guys who are close to my age who have helped me learn about the city that I'm moving to and the opportunities that I'll have there and the chance for me to live out in faith in a city that maybe sometimes is framed as a dangerous place to be, especially for Christians. The second pillar of Chattanooga Fellows is to commit to community. And I was just talking the other day that those are really specific and choice words. At the end of my senior year, I dug into the practice of mourning with a counselor, and it's become an important discipline for me, sitting with God in the face of hard answers and bitter realities. One of these bitter realities is leaving Chattanooga. We were asked early on to commit to community. It's one of the core values of the program. We sign a community covenant at the beginning of the year to commit to each other. And it hasn't been easy. At many points for all of us, it's been a really lonely year. I've felt the struggle of disconnecting with old friends and struggling with the dynamics of storming 10 new friendships. I think the two reasons that we made it are that we're committed and we let community happen. In Life Together, Dietrich Bonhoeffer says, the person who loves their dream of community will destroy community. But the person who loves those around them will create community. Before we even showed up to Chattanooga, Ralston asked us to read a book by Henry Nouwen about living in community. Big buzzword today. And it set the tone that we are not likely to understand why we're together or how to do things correctly as a team. But if we believe in the grace of Jesus, he will pull through for us. We struggled, and I was a part of the reason that we struggled. But I've been so incredibly blessed by the sacrifice and grace that all the fellows have given me this year. I'm a better man because of their friendships. They've all shaped me in different ways, but Kat, Robert, Liz, Abby. Is everyone here? Okay, you know your names. Gianna, Emily, Hunter, Matt, Gigi, Lane. I got you. I love you all very much, and I'm very proud of each of you, and I'm very grateful for all of you, and I just want to say thank you again for staying steadfast to our covenant. In this covenant community, I felt safe to step up into my faith and challenge what I've believed. Explore your faith is the actual tagline. And I think that really is the best way to describe it, because faith, it acts like a map, right? There's boundaries, there's edges, and you can fill in that map as much as you want, but at the end of the day, there's only so much that is actually there. And I think because of that, we understand that all things are permitted, but not all things are beneficial for the kingdom. I can't recount all the wonderful experiences that we've had together this year, especially with our pastors from North Shore who have taught a lot of our classes, that have opened our eyes to a lot of truth, hard and beautiful, and helped us realize those boundaries of Christian freedom. I feel more grounded in my faith, and I feel more ready to live them out this year. I've been particularly blessed to have the time to ask direct questions with previous fellows, and I just want to thank George Carpenter and Peter Barbeta for sitting with me this year in a lot of these tough questions as I think about where to go next and things that I'm struggling with this year. And I also want to thank Robert for being a really stalwart friend since the beginning of the year and challenging me in my faith. I love you. The biggest thing I'm taking away from this year, however, is that faith teaches us to care for the city and to seek the good of our neighbor in a concrete and powerful way outside of the church. It teaches us how to identify the most valuable and real intangibles and turn them into tangible feelings. It teaches us to see beyond people and see the individual persons who are hurting. I've had so many people over this year invite us into their lives and their little worlds across Chattanooga. Some of them are entrepreneurs and some of them are employers. Some of them have dedicated their lives to ministry or teaching, therapy or counseling. And they all hold a common love for our city. They all see how they fit and how they help, how they serve. And as we, the fellows, have been supporting a lot of these institutions individually, corporately, financially, through hard work, that habit of practical services and of financial support outside of the church has been a seriously formative experience. And I understand it to be in the way of the Lord. This year, I got to volunteer with a couple different organizations outside the church, one of them being the Kelly campaign, which was obviously super fun. But it did make me think, okay, last time I was interacting with political campaigns, I was covering them as a journalist. I covered the Nikki Haley primary campaign up in New Hampshire and South Carolina. And this time I was in the campaign and I had to think about what I believed in, and I realized I did believe in it. I believed in my team at the city. I believed in what they were doing to try and help people, to house people and care for people and provide opportunities for people to get work and to have dignity in this city. And I realized that I wanted to be a part of that. Also this year, I got to work with Chattanooga Endeavors, which is a nonprofit that helps reduce recidivism in some of our prisons and help facilitate reentry into life. And that was a really cool experience to get to understand some of the technical side of that and some of the ways that you can help from beyond planting trees or cleaning homes, which were other things that I did this year. So I was really grateful for those experiences. So where do I go from here? I'm going to D.C. in a little more than a week. I'll be working for Representative Moore from Alabama's 1st District down in Mobile. And I have the privilege to help lead 9 interns over the summer, and I hope that I'll get to love them all really well, the way that you all have loved me. You've fed me, and you've helped me to feel found. And there's so many more people to thank, but what I want to leave you with is a verse I've meditated on this year, and for many years of my life. It's Micah 6:8. It says, "He has told you, O man, what is good, and what more does the Lord require of you than to do justice, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God." Thank you all very much. I didn't do my PowerPoint at all, but I do have real slides. Shout out, Matt. Yeah. Oh. This is what happens when I get nervous. So I just forget my visual aid. But yeah, thanks guys.